So something a little bit different to start this video off. First of all, I'm gonna zoom out. Something a little bit different to start this video off. We're karting today. It's me, Benji, and my cousin, technically, but he calls her Aunt Tessa, so cousin, nephew, William. He's a driver in training, so we're all karting today. We got a couple races together, and then me and William are gonna jump in the pro class and do some races. Should be fun, should be fun. Ben, you want to tell them what happened? What?
Me and this girl crashed, and they had to come over and fix it. And then I got ahead of him. I got ahead of everyone, so I was in first place. And then it was time to go into pits because the race was over, and I got first. And now I'm getting the Labubu. My fifth one.
Oh, like the YouTube crowd.
Ben, what are we doing?
Oh, we're getting my Labubu and a gumball.
So, before we got to the karting track, we were in the mall, and Ben saw Labubus, and of course, you know, he wants them because they're trendy. Well, you told him that if he won his races, he could get a Labubu. And since he beat me and William, I guess I gotta pay up. What you got? Show me.
No way.
Why would this open? Okay.
There's no No way! That's insane! That's exactly the one you wanted. How are you so lucky?
That's literally odd.
It does.
This kid has been asking for the blue one for months, and we told him that we can't just get him the blue one. Like, they're random. What you got, Bean?
I got the blue one. I got the blue one.
Alright, we're at the shop, and there are Ferrari parts everywhere because we're still working on the Ferrari. But I don't know that I've even mentioned that yet at this point. But yeah, there's Ferrari in the shop, and we're putting it together. But yeah, there are parts everywhere, so I gotta clean this up to be able to get my car in to work on it. So that's step one. Alright, so what I'm digging into today, I made the front splitter for this car, and I'm not totally satisfied with it. First of all, it doesn't fit regulations. The splitter is not allowed to go out past the front tire. As you can see, it does, so that's not going to work. And also, it sits a little too low under the car, and that's because of the way that the subframe is designed. It kind of hits it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the overall like width of the like the rear end of the splitter, like where it's just underneath the car, and kind of narrow it a bit so that I can get that splitter up under the subframe, mount that nice and like fixed, round out those holes a little bit so they have room to move, and then that'll allow me to kind of tilt the splitter down more and also maintain my ride height so I can run the car lower then to, you know, help the aerodynamics, help the handling, everything like that. So that's that's the plan. I want to kind of adjust the splitter really. And once I get a good like template, I'm gonna make a second one just so I have it for race days. Like if I get into something or it breaks or it's dragging a little too much and it splinters, I can swap it out. So I just realized that all 6 of our jack stands are currently holding the Ferrari up in the air. So I'm gonna pivot and do something else that I wanted to do, and that is get some of the buttons for the steering wheel wired up. So the windshield wipers, the headlights, things like that. That get them wired up so that I can hit the button on the steering wheel and it'll actually make them work. So in order to get the windshield wipers to react to my button, there is a motor in here that I need to kind of rewire. And in order to do that, I have to remove all of this stuff to even get to it. I'm sure there's a better way to do that, but so the goal is to have a button on the steering wheel that I can hit it and the windshield wipers come on and they stay on until I hit that button again. Now currently when I turn on the car, the windshield wipers automatically start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to interrupt the ground with that button, which will hopefully interrupt the power to the windshield wiper motor. And then when I press that button, it'll reconnect that power and allow it to move, ideally. All right, so what we did was we clipped the ground wire. Now, hypothetically, again, I feel like this is the perfect time for a disclaimer. I've built race cars before, but never a BMW race car. And they're so much more complicated electronically. So this is why I'm speaking in hypotheticals. But hypothetically, when I turn on the car, because this wire is snipped, the windshield wipers will not turn on. But as soon as I touch that wire together, they'll go on. I hope. All right, so far so good. No windshield wipers. Let's connect these 2 wires. All right, so theoretically, when I connect this ground wire, the wipers should start. So, theoretically, when I touch these 2 wires together, the wipers should start going. Okay, new plan, and this one's gonna work. I know because I tested it before I started recording. So, basically what we got going on now, the wires no longer go to the computer of the car. They are just straight up wired to a battery. So this is obviously not the end-all solution because I'm not going to be able to just run a jumper box under my hood, but what I am able to do is run a wire from there to the battery in the back, and then when I hit the button, complete the circuit, and watch what happens when I turn the battery pack on. They work! Dude, that was embarrassing, I'm not gonna lie. Next up, I'm gonna do the headlights, the high beams. All right, so we got the front all wired up. That's all good. And then we're gonna bring it around to here. And these wires here were for the heated seats. And I left them specifically for this. So I'm gonna run my power to this. And I don't know if you can see it, but it makes the headlights go on. So now I'm gonna wire up the windshield wipers the same way, and conveniently they have a plug, so I can wire it out of the car, making it easier, and then just plug it in and be done. So, all right, so I got all of this stuff wired up to the plug that will get mounted to the dash, and then this gets plugged into here and is attached to my steering wheel. So in order to get the paddle shifters on that wheel to work, I need to tie into these two wires. Basically, this goes to the manual shifter on the dash, and that sends a signal to the transmission every time you push it up or down. So if I snip these two wires, I will essentially be taking this and moving it to the paddle shifters on here. Can I just say that I absolutely hate the disgusting tape that BMW uses on all of their wires? Which, I mean, I guess it's not really meant to be taken off, but like, ew. All right, so now what I did was I wired up the paddle shifters to the transmission, but I also wired the existing wires back together, so not only will the paddle shifters shift the car, but this should also. Shift it into manual, manual 2, manual 3, down to 1, manual 2, manual 3, down to 1. It works! All right, so I think I'm gonna wrap this video up here. That's, I mean, wiring, you know, I had a pretty successful day. You know, got the high beams working, the wipers working, the horn working, and the paddle shifts. The paddle shifts is the big one. That one's super exciting. We also got a super secret project coming up here soon. You guys have probably seen it in the background already, but I'm super excited to let you guys know about that one. But you'll have to subscribe and follow along to see what that is. So, see you guys.